That sound, man, it wasn't a gentle little ding-dong. You know, the polite suburban tap. No, this was a brring. A long, aggressive thumb-on-the-button kind of ring, the kind that screamed, "I'm holding a subpoena, and your perfect Saturday is officially over." I remember freezing my coffee mug, a perfect dark roast, that Saturday special blend I'd been anticipating since Wednesday, halfway to my mouth, just processing the sheer, unmitigated audacity of a 9:04 a.m. home invasion. There are maybe 3 acceptable reasons for that ring. Girl Scouts delivering Thin Mints, Ed McMahon rising from the grave with a giant check, or, like, my house being on fire. This, though, this was a ring that meant business, and it was absolutely gutting my vibe. "Are you going to get that?" my wife, Sarah, called out from the kitchen. "I'm thinking about it," I muttered, setting my mug down, the coffee inside now slowly cooling. I shuffled to the door in my slippers, a pair of worn-out moccasins that had truly seen better decades, and pulled the door open, squinting into the bright morning light. And of course, it was her. It was Brenda, my next-door neighbor. Not holding cookies or a check, but holding a clipboard, a tape measure, and her smartphone held up at this weird, almost supplicating angle, like she was trying to triangulate a signal from God himself. "Mark," she said, and it wasn't a greeting, it was an accusation, like I'd just been caught red-handed stealing garden gnomes. "Brenda," I replied, pulling my robe tighter. "What's up? Everything okay? Your lawn looks aggressively green." Brenda is that neighbor, the one who measures her blades of grass with a ruler, the one who calls the non-emergency police line because an Amazon driver loitered too long. She ignored my pleasantry, naturally. "No, Mark. Everything is absolutely not okay." She clicked her pen, that sharp little tick that always meant trouble. "I've been tracking it for 6 weeks." "Tracking it? Tracking the stray cats?" "Your house," she snapped, tapping her phone, which was displaying some kind of complex solar azimuth chart. "Your roofline, specifically, it's casting a shadow." I just stared at her, waiting for the punchline, because surely, this had to be an elaborate prank. "A shadow," I repeated slowly, trying to process. "My house, a 3-dimensional object, is casting a shadow when the sun is up." "Yes, Brenda, that's called physics. It's called the afternoon." She was not amused. "Don't be facetious. This isn't a normal shadow. This is an aggressive shadow. I've done the math." She consulted the dreaded clipboard. "Every single day, from 2:04 p.m. to precisely 4:18 p.m., your southwest roof peak completely obliterates the sunlight on my prize-winning petunias." I glanced over her shoulder. Her prize-winning petunias were this sad, little strip of droopy pink and purple flowers next to her driveway. 2 hours and 14 minutes, Mark. Her voice dropped to a conspiratorial, almost wounded whisper. "They're suffering. They need full sun, and your house is denying them their botanical rights." She honestly expected me to apologize for the stable roofline my parents bought 50 years ago. "But don't worry," she continued, a tight, thin smile that never quite reached her eyes spreading across her face. "I'm a solutions-oriented person. I see 2 viable options." She held up 2 fingers, a terrifying prophet of suburban chaos. "1, you can lower your roofline. A chalet-style pitch would be much more community-friendly. I have the number for a good architect." My jaw must have been somewhere near my knees. "Lower my roof? For her flowers?" "Or," she pressed, "and this is really the compromise, you could move the entire house." "Move the house?" "Yes, just back about 15 feet. According to my calculations, that would clear the petunia bed entirely, year-round." She truly, 100%, expected me to consider uprooting an entire structure. "Brenda," I said, trying to find the gentlest way to tell her she was completely barking at the moon insane. "I am not going to be moving my house or de-roofing it." Her face hardened, the brief, terrifying flicker of a smile gone. "I see. So, you're refusing to be a cooperative member of this community." "I'm refusing to alter the fundamental structure of my home to appease your flowers." "They are prize-winning," she shrieked. "What prize, Brenda? The most obsessively coddled perennials on the block award? It's a shadow. Get a plant that likes partial shade." "This," she said, her voice now dangerously calm, "is a direct violation of my right to full sun and my quiet enjoyment of my property. I expect you to handle this. I'll be checking back on Monday for your decision." She pivoted on her New Balance sneakers and marched back across her perfectly edged lawn, the clipboard held high. I closed the door, the click of the deadbolt unnervingly final. The house was silent. Was it the Girl Scouts? Sarah called from the kitchen. I walked zombie-like into the kitchen, poured my now lukewarm coffee directly into the sink, and turned to my wife. "Sarah," I said, my voice dead serious. "We have to move the house." She burst out laughing, but when I relayed the conversation, the roofline, the petunias, the 2:04 p.m. shadow print, her laughter died. She's not well, right? Like, that's a call someone level of crazy. She's serious, Sarah. 100%. She's coming back Monday for my decision. She wants a solution. I stared out the window at the spot where Brenda had stood. The sheer, unmitigated audacity, the entitlement, the clipboard. She complained about a shadow. I said, a slow, dangerous smile spreading across my face. It was the involuntary expression that usually only appeared when I had a really good idea for a fantasy football trade. "Mark," Sarah said, her voice wary. "What's that look?" "That's your I'm about to buy a drone we don't need look." She was very specific, Sarah. Her complaint. It wasn't the shadow, per se. It was not enough sun. She wants more sun. I stood up and walked to my laptop. "I'm talking," I said as I opened a new browser tab, "about being a good neighbor. I'm talking about solving her problem. If Brenda wants more sun, then by God, I think I should give her more sun." Sarah just sighed and poured herself a cup of coffee. Oh Lord. Here we go. My Saturday instantly became a research day, the laptop screen pulsing like a beacon of infinite, petty possibilities. I quickly confirmed her solutions were insane. Lowering the roof at $150,000, moving the house at $300,000 to $500,000. Due diligence complete. Now for my solution. My search history evolved. How to annoy neighbor legally. Reflect sunlight neighbor's yard. Then I found it. The magic word. Heliostat. A heliostat, according to Wikipedia, is a device that includes a mirror that turns so as to keep reflecting sunlight toward a predetermined target, compensating for the sun's apparent motion in the sky. They were industrial, technical, they were perfect. I wasn't putting a static mirror on my roof. I needed something motorized, computer-controlled. "Sarah," I shouted, more excited than I'd been in months. "I'm going to need your trigonometry." I showed her the concept. I showed her a YouTube video of a guy who built a small one that had promptly melted a plastic garden chair. "Mark, that chair, it's melting. It's a tacky plastic chair, Sarah. But look at the focus. I'm going to build a daylight intensification system, a solar generosity array. I'm going to give her the sun she asked for directly." A slow, terrifying smile spread across Sarah's face. She'll have to close her blinds in the middle of the afternoon from the glare off her lawn." Exactly. It's brilliantly awful. But can we even do that? Legally. I spent all of Sunday afternoon on the city's building code website. Ordinance 14B-7, light pollution and glare, only referred to artificial luminaries and nighttime illumination. It says nothing, Sarah, not one single word about reflecting natural sunlight during the day. "It's a loophole," Sarah said, eyes wide with beautiful, terrible realization. "A sunlight loophole. It's a feature," I proclaimed. "I'm not the villain. I'm the solution. I'm a good neighbor." "Okay," Sarah said finally. "I'm in. But you are not building this yourself. No repeat of the bookshelf incident of 2019. You are hiring professionals with insurance." I sighed slightly. I didn't want to build it myself, but she was right. Hiring professionals added a layer of glorious, undeniable legitimacy. Deal. I'll make the calls Monday. My first few calls were failures. Local roofers called it a disco ball. Solar installers called it a solar cannon. Frustrated, I pulled up the website for Aperture Architectural Solutions. Their tagline, "We control the sun." I called and spoke to a project manager named Gary. I used their professional language. A new daylighting installation. Heavily shaded area. Need full sun. "Not a problem, Mark," Gary said. "We do this all the time for atriums, courtyards. We use a system of helio arrays, usually roof-mounted, to track the sun and reflect it down into the target area." "Okay," I said. "And the target area, it's my neighbor's garden. Her prize-winning petunias specifically." Gary's typing stopped. The silence was different. Reevaluation. "Sir," Gary said, his voice slow and careful, You want to purchase and install a commercial-grade, computer-controlled helio array to shine sunlight onto your neighbor's lawn? Yes. She filed a formal complaint. My house is casting an aggressive shadow from 2:04 p.m. to 4:18 p.m. She wants more sun. I'm just trying to be a helpful neighbor, Gary. Gary let out a long, long sigh. The sigh of a man who realized that a Marcan his petunia problem commission check spends just as well as an atrium commission check. Mr. Johnson, he said, I think I need to come out for a site survey. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Gary arrived, a small, neat man in an aperture polo, looking like a high school physics teacher. We stood on the property line. He looked at my roof, looked at Brenda's sad flowers, did the math on his tablet. Okay, he said. We can do it. I don't know if we should, but we can. It's highly unusual. Unusual is what I'm paying for, Gary. We'd need a 4-panel array, he continued. Dual-axis tracker, networked, we'd build you an app. The system would auto-track the sun, lock onto the GPS coordinates of that flower bed, and illuminate it. It's going to be bright, Mark. Very bright. Like 4 extra suns, full, direct, concentrated sunlight. I asked if he could focus it into one intense beam, a death ray. Gary physically recoiled. Mark, I cannot in good conscience or with any legal coverage build you a death ray. We will defocus it slightly for safety so it doesn't set her mulch on fire. It will be an 8 by 12-foot zone of intense illumination. Safety first, I guess. Safety first. They're not going to like this, Mark. This is surface of Mercury sun. You're going to kill those flowers. I'm just honoring my neighbor's request, Gary. How soon can you start? The email arrived at 4:32 p.m., the quote. It was professional, itemized, and expensive. This was new car that you don't get to drive money. Sarah looked at the number. You know, I never really wanted to see Rome anyway. It's probably full of shadows. Book it. Thursday morning, 8 a.m. The official-looking Aperture Architectural Solutions truck pulled up. The scaffolding went up with a clank-thud-clank that was music to my ears. It was a bat signal for Brenda. She flew out her door, marched right up to my porch. Mark, what is this? This is a violation. Just a little home improvement, Brenda. Sprucing the place up. Her eyes scanned the scaffolding creeping up the side of my house. Then, a look of pure hope dawned on her face. Oh my God, she whispered. Are you doing it? Are you lowering the roof? I had to let her down gently. Oh, Brenda, no, goodness no. That would be so drastic and so expensive. No, I'm going with the other option. I took your complaint to heart. I'm addressing your sunlight complaint directly, Brenda. I pointed up. I'm giving you more sun. You're welcome. She just stood there. She had no file for this. Her clipboard of complaints was empty. Giving more sun. Her mind was a 1990s computer trying to load a 4K video. This isn't approved. I'm calling the HOA. Already did, I said brightly. Roof-mounted fixtures, totally approved. They just thought it was solar panels. She sputtered, realized she had no power, and slammed her door. The installation took all day. By 4 p.m., Gary returned, handing me his tablet. Okay, Mark. We're done. System is operational. Here's the app. He showed me the Aperture OS app, the targeting screen with the red 8 by 12 rectangle over her lawn, and the big red panic button. Mark, Gary said, looking me dead in the eye. This is without a doubt the single most suburban thing I have ever done. Please, just be cool. I just smiled. The schedule didn't start until tomorrow. The anticipation was delicious. The next day, Friday, 2:04 p.m. Engage. Sarah came and stood next to me, a bowl of popcorn in her hands. You're a sick, sick man, she whispered. God, I love you. I tapped the button. System active. From the roof came a low, electronic whir. The panels tilted, locked, and then light. Brenda's sad, droopy petunia bed vanished. It was replaced by a rectangle of pure, unadulterated biblical light. It was nuclear. We heard from next door, what in the Jesus H. Christ? 10 minutes later, the inevitable, a police cruiser rolling slowly down our street. Brenda flew out her front door, gesturing wildly, pointing at our roof. 2 officers got out, Officer Grizzled and Officer Rookie. Rookie, who looked confused, finally spoke to me. Sir, she claims you're blinding her with space weapons. I bit my cheek to keep from laughing. Space weapons? Oh goodness, no, officers. Those are just my new daylighting fixtures. My neighbor, Brenda, had a very serious, very formal complaint. My house was casting a shadow. A 2-hour and 14-minute shadow, to be precise. She said she needed more sun. I handled it. I got her more sun. The cops stared at me. I led them around the side. You're going to want to squint. They both put on their aviators. Now, officer, is that or is that not a lot of sun? Holy, Rookie whispered. That is definitely a lot of sun. Sir, Grizzled said. Is this legal? Officer, I'd be insulted if I thought you hadn't noticed I'm a law-abiding citizen. I checked the city code personally. Ordinance 14B, 7, light pollution. It only pertains to artificial light at night. This is natural light. Is it illegal to reflect the sun? I tapped the big red panic button. The light vanished. The petunia bed returned to its normal, sad, shady self. The world seemed duller. Grizzled sighed a deep, soulful sigh. He walked back to Brenda. Rookie stayed with me. When Grizzled trudged back, his shoulders slumped. Sir, he said. Officer, I replied. You're an ass, he said. But, he continued, you're a legal ass. As far as I can tell, you haven't broken a single law. It is incredibly petty. I'm almost impressed, but it is not illegal. He put his notepad away. She says her garden gnomes are melting. I looked over. The plastic gnome with the fishing rod. His little red hat was drooping. Officer, that gnome was tacky. I'm improving the property values. Grizzled stared at me. Rookie, let's go. We're done here. He muttered into his radio. Situation resolved. No crime, just suburbia. The next week was the war. Day 2, the umbrella war. Brenda tried to sit under a giant Rainbow Beach umbrella. I pulled up the manual override screen on the app. She's left her flanks exposed. I mused. I tapped the nudge button and slid the beam perfectly off the umbrella and onto the exposed petunias. She shrieked, looking like a cartoon character trying to plug 10 holes in a dam, before throwing the umbrella down and storming inside. Day 4, the city inspector, Mr. Henderson, code enforcement, arrived to check the complaint of malicious solar activity. I sat him down, presented the valid permit and the legal loophole. He'd assumed this was a DIY death ray. We went outside. 2:04 p.m. We're light. Henderson put on his sunglasses. He looked at the petunias. They had gone beyond crispy. They had achieved fossilized. They were petunia jerky. The grass in the 8x12 rectangle was white. It had been photo-bleached. Mr. Henderson took off his sunglasses. Sir, he said, it's the ugliest, most obnoxious, most passive-aggressive, brilliant piece of engineering I have ever seen in my 20 years of code enforcement. He signed his form. It's to code. The light is natural. Have a good day, Mr. Johnson. And don't focus it. The final knock came an hour later. It was Brenda. No clipboard. Just broken. Mark, she whispered. Please. Just please turn it off. It's too much sun. You've killed them. They're all dead. My gnome, his face is gone. I put my hand to my chin. Brenda, I'm so confused. I'm getting mixed messages. First, the shadow was bad, so I handled it. I got rid of the shadow. Now you're saying the sun is bad. I can't keep up with your landscaping needs. Do you want the shadow back? Is that what you're saying? She sputtered, caught in my beautiful, stupid logic trap. She said, defeated. You're awful. No, Brenda. I said, my voice kind, my smile not. I'm thorough. There's a difference. That evening, I granted mercy. The sport was over. The Karen had surrendered. I deleted the schedule and hit the big red panic button. System disarmed. Panels in safe, skyward position. Weeks passed. Brenda became a recluse. The white bleached patch of grass remained. A scar, a perfect 8x12 rectangle of shame. Then, one glorious sunny April morning, it appeared. A for sale sign on Brenda's lawn. I didn't cheer. I didn't high-five Sarah. I just stood at the window and nodded once, slowly. The system had worked. The problem had been handled. Later that night, Sarah and I sat on the porch. You know, Sarah said, in a weird, twisted, toxic way, I'm going to miss her. I'm not, I said, but I'll miss the potential. The energy. The solar energy, she smirked. I looked up at the roof. Gary called. He wanted to know about the removal plan. What are we going to do with those things? Sarah asked. What are the new neighbors going to think? Tell him no, I said, a slow smile spreading across my face. Tell him we want to keep the warranty. You never know. Sarah rolled her eyes. You're a menace, Mark Johnson. No, Sarah. I said, raising my beer to the dark, silent panels on my roof. I'm a problem solver. A very thorough problem solver. So, here's the question for you. Was what I did justified? Did I cross a line from being a problem solver to being just as petty and self-absorbed as Brenda, only with a much, much bigger budget? I mean, I won. But did I sacrifice my moral high ground for a perfectly bleached patch of grass? Let me know in the comments below. What would you have done with that sunlight loophole? And don't forget to like and subscribe, because with new neighbors moving in, you just never know when those panels might need to point down again.